Alohu. Eshadala Henu Lea Botenu. Abiaba Mabiis Kalu Abiako. Atakwados, Weshemeka Kwados, Baruch Shemeka Lolam Wae. Washamil Bene Israel, El Shabbat Lasso, El Shabbat Ledoro Tam Bedi Olam. Beni Bene Israel, Oti Lolam. Kisheshek Mimasa El Shaddai Wa Shemaim. Where Ta'aret Ubayom Mashbi Shabbat Wa Nafash. Baruch Shemeka, Baruch Yemeneka, Baruch Tolateka, Baruch Ishateka. El Shaddai Malek, El Shaddai Malak, El Shaddai Imlok Olam Wahed, Baruch Shem Kabo Makuto Olam Wahed, Baruch Kabo Lamim Mikumo Legelio, Aluhu Olam Wahed. First of all, I'd like to give all honor and praise to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the great, mighty, and revered God, the Most High God, who bestows loving kindness and blesses all things, who remembers the pious deeds of the patriarchs, the Most High, slow of anger, great in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, but who will by no means clear the guilty, visiting iniquities of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. The Most High's work is perfect, for all his ways of justice, a God of faithfulness, and without iniquity, just and right is he. May you see. Giving due respect and honor to a head in Israel, Chief Eleazar, to the chief men, princes, brothers, and sisters. I say unto the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
God has commanded us to observe the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day comes every seventh day.
Right.
Every seventh day. But you have people with the erroneous idea that the Sabbath begins on a Monday, the Sabbath begins on every other day except for the seventh day that God has ordained for the Sabbath to ordained. Mm-hmm. And you know what causes this? What causes this are froward thoughts. Froward thoughts or the idea or the mind to go against God, to go against what God said. Okay? Froward thought separates you from God. Froward thoughts puts a wedge and puts distance away from you and God. Because when you have froward thoughts, then it's going to show in your actions. Mm-hmm. When you have the idea and the thoughts and the mentality to go against God and it's contrary, it's going to show in your actions. You're going to start doing things contrary to what God says. You're going to start doing things opposite from what God says. One thing we got to realize, we can't have our own idea of what is good. We cannot have our own idea of what is evil. That's right. Evil is what God said is evil. Good is what God said is good. And that is the only way to get some type of attention from the Creator. The only way to get some type of attention or some type of consideration from God, we got to start considering the things that God considers and regards. Respect what God respects. Acknowledge what God acknowledges. That's right. Because the first one of the commandments that I read here, it says, you say, thou shalt be holy. For what? For I, the Lord your God, am holy. Right. Holy means set apart. What is going to cause us to be set apart? How are we going to become set apart? The only thing that can set us apart is by the acknowledging and the doing of the laws, commandments, and statutes of the living God. That's what sets you apart. Why? Because it gives you a different mindset. It gives you a different mindset. The things that this person does, this person won't do. All right? The things that the way this person thinks, that person don't think. Because God has gave you a different mindset. We're going to go into the law. Let's go into Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. And this is what I notice with the inhabitants of the world today. Everybody has their own terminology of what is good and evil. And then they come up with their own ideas and believe their own ideas, their own thoughts. They believe, they counsel themselves. And they come up with their own ideas about certain things when it don't have to be right. Because you know why we do these things? Because we don't channel it and use the book to curve our ideas. We don't use the book to say, well, God said this, and this. And we don't go by this. We don't go by the book. We go by what's in your head. We go by what's in our own head. And the figmentation of our own mind. And if you don't find no solution in what's conjured up in your mind, then you're right. Forget what God says. Forget about what the Creator says. You got to realize something, man. We got to realize something. Our duty on earth is to serve God and keep his commandments. Our duty on earth is to serve God and please God. Okay? And the only way to please God is to read so we know what God agrees with. There is an entity called the adversary. Like Job. Like in Job chapter 1. He said, Job appeared and God asked him, he said, what's coming down? So where you coming from? When you look up the word for Satan, it means adversary, to be adverse, to be contrary. His job is to detour you away from serving God. Okay? We're going to go real deep. Okay? We're going to go real deep into the core. That's his job. To detour you and pull you away from God. In Isaiah, it states, he said, how art thou fallen, O son of the morning? When you look up those words in Hebrew, Halel, the job of the adversary was to bring out the sun. He wanted to be like God. So because of that, he became the adversary guy. He pulled away, took a third with him. And the adversary also had servants. The adversary also had followers to do his bidding. But he can't do nothing without God sanctioning it. That is dependent on your actions and how you live your life. That is depending on how clean and how pure we live our lives according to the laws of God. Remember, the Most High allowed, he said, the adversary said, I can't touch him. Job. He said, you got a what? An edge around him. Why did God put an edge around Job? He said, because he eschewed evil. In the Hebrew, for eschewed means to turn away. That's all it means. That's all it means. But people allow their emotions to get in the way of them serving God. Yeah. People let their emotions. What are emotions? My pops wrote up. He said, how emotions harm you. Stress, anger, grief, worry, and fear. People allow their emotions to get in the way of them serving God. So they move upon their own emotions, disregarding how God feels about the situation. Disregarding the commandments and the laws and the statutes of God. And that's our problem. That is our problem. In order to regard you, or in order to consider you, before I consider you, I got to consider how God feels. Right. Before I can consider that person, I got to regard how God feels first.
That's right. You got to make exceptions. right.
Because this is what the book teaches us. The laws is concerning each man his neighbor.
That's right. His neighbor.
Huh? We gotta push, man. We gotta push for this. We gotta push. Push and keep pushing because there is a negative force that's going to pull you away from this. And when they pull you away, they have been successful. Let's read. Deuteronomy chapter 6.
Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you.
Now, all the while now, we're in the wilderness. We are in the wilderness receiving the laws and the commandments and the statutes of God. Huh? We are receiving these laws from God that had direct contact with God. That's what these people had that we don't have. Huh? That's what those people and that we read about. Look, for many years, you know what people are. Look, for many years, you know what they had on TV? Adam was white. Moses was white. Even the pharaohs was white. Everybody white. Man, go ahead with that foolishness, man. God created Adam from the dust of the ground.
That's right.
Adam was a black man.
That's right.
The first color change didn't come until centuries later.
The 22nd generation.
When they started migrating and going into cold regions.
Right.
And when you go into cold regions, your melanin, after generations and generations and generations, you lose melanin, the pigmentation of your hair, the texture of your hair changes.
Yes, sir.
This is about, listen, man, this is our history, man.
Yes, sir.
This is about our history. This is about a people. These people God used for examples.
That's right.
These are your examples. What happened when you do this? This is what the repercussion of what happened here.
That's right. That
Let you know.
This brings this.
That's right.
When you start pushing up on God, when you start getting strict with God, He guides your steps, man.
Right.
He guards your feet. And sometimes the wife may have been with a person that God has regard. And because the wife is with a person that God has regard, he start dealing with the wife.
That's right. Like,
Look at Manoah's wife.
Yeah.
How the angel appeared to the wife of Manoah and instructed her about a son that she didn't even have yet.
That's right.
Because this son called Samson, he's gonna deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines.
That's right.
But it was of God for him to desire Delilah. It was of God. God did that. He said, what? It was of God. That's why his one mother looked and said, wait a minute, all these women you got here, why are you desiring the daughter of a Philistine? She said, I forgot what he said. He said, she pleased me.
Yeah, that's what she said.
He said, she pleased me. You know what that means?
No problem.
When a woman pleases you, when you're in her presence, you're at ease.
Right.
You're breathing now.
Mm-hmm.
Your comfort now.
You always want to be around.
You always want to be around because she pleased you. You kidding me? That's the effect that a good woman have on a man.
That's right.
The woman don't realize the effect you guys have on men that's really into you. And that's the effect she had on my man Samson. He said, man, this woman pleased me, man. Before I couldn't breathe. Now, I ain't got no more asthma. I could breathe. Everything going good. Leg working. I was on a crutch. I ain't walking on no crutches. He said, I don't know what this woman done did to me. Man, shoot. You kidding me? Shoot. Let's read.
Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments.
Uh-huh.
The Lord your God
Now
commanded
these are the
to
what?
teach you.
Or the commandments,
The statutes,
the statutes,
and the judgments,
and the judgments.
which the Lord your God commanded to teach you.
Which the Lord your God commanded to teach you. Again, we was in the wilderness 40 years. All because of these spies that went out to spy out the land, and they gave a defamation of character about the land. Now, guess what? Now God got to kill all this evil generation. You see what God looked at and said people was evil and why he destroyed them? What did they do? Did they do anything? No. They didn't do nothing. It's what they said. Do we understand how important it is to watch our words with God?
Oh, yes. That's right.
Do we really understand how important it is to watch our words with God?
No,
Because we can voice certain things that will bring death to us.
Yeah, we don't understand.
And how many people say things, and I'm going to people like, you don't say that,
Right.
because you can condemn yourself with God by saying these things.
That's right.
Now look what took place now. The spies went out. They brought back an evil report. By them bringing back the evil report, God turned away from them. Guess what? The people was able to recognize when God was not amongst them. Moses told them, he said, man, don't go up. Don't go up. He said, God is not with us today. He said, y'all done brought back an evil report on the land, and God is angry with you. He's tight. You don't want God angry with you, because God is not going to be with you when he's angry with you. The people went against. They went up. They got chased. Be careful of the things that you say out of your mouth. Be careful of your words that you voice out of your mouth, that is against God.
That's how you speak to your parents.
The wilderness, you know why we was put in the wilderness? You know why God took us into the wilderness? Do we really know? Do you think we dealing with a foolish God? God knows that when you go, if I take these people in this wilderness, he said, I know there's no food here. There's no vegetation. There's no water. It's a place surrounded with cold-blooded creatures. Nobody goes in the wilderness and live. When they ran up in that wilderness, no nation followed them in that wilderness. He said, man, y'all try mine. But it was only because of the grace of God why they survived. Now God brought them through the wilderness to test them, to prove them, to try them. Do we know that God deals the same way today? Why can't we realize this? I gotta get into the core. The adversary don't like what you're doing. You
Say it again.
serve other gods.
Right.
You serve deities and idols, and you have transferred and you have turned over a new leaf, and you found out who God is.
You have turned your back on the God.
So because you do that, the habit, the external, the outside, the evil force conjures up ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Put certain things before you.
Oh, yeah.
Make you think it is the way it is, but it's not. It's only to detour you away from here.
That's right. That's right.
It's only to pull you away from here.
That's right.
That's the only reason why. And when you turn your back on God, guess what? He's in the corner laughing. Yes.
Right.
Got him.
On to the next one.
I got him. Got him.
On to the next one. That's right.
Then he tries somebody else. But then with this person here, he got to come to him different. Can't come to him with the same ruku foolishness that he came with this guy with.
Ah.
So I gotta come higher,
It's by your heart.
more elevator,
That's right.
because this guy is more inclined to have more inclination and more determination to serve God. So he had to come to you in a little slicker. That is the battle that we are fighting today. That is the condition of the battle that we are fighting today. Forget about family. No, I'm the example. I'm not going to forget my family, but I'm doing the example. Forget about the most important things is you, me,
You gotta fight yourself.
ourselves. Because it comes at us every day.
Mhm.
Every day. Trying to pull you away from
Constant.
serving God. Constant pulling.
Constant battle.
Let's read it.
That ye might do them in the land, whither ye go to possess it. Verse 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God to keep all his statutes and his
That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God to keep the what?
all his statutes.
All his statutes.
And his commandments.
And his commandments.
Which I command thee.
What does fear mean? Fear means to be afraid of.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
And in order to make the right decisions according to what God said, you have to be afraid.
That's right.
You got to be afraid. You know, you got to be afraid. Because if you're not afraid, then you will do things to please yourself instead of pleasing God. Instead of pleasing God.
That's right. You come first.
You will come first. I come first. Me. I'm hurt. I'm sick. I'm stressed. Now you start moving in accordance to how you feel and the best decision of what makes you happy instead of making God happy. Instead of putting God first. Like Principal Paul used to always say, God over everything. I said, God over everything.
Right.
Nothing comes before God.
What about my kids?
God first.
My children don't come before God.
Your wife.
My wife don't come before God.
My
My husband don't come before God.
I got to go to work, brother.
My job don't come before. Nothing comes before God.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we put that and embed that in our brain.
That's right.
Embed that in our brain. Nothing comes before God. God
That's right.
over
You hear that?
everything. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Are you listening, brother?
Talk.
Let's read.
Talk.
Now, hold up. Now, if I, first is fear is to fear God. And when you fear God, then you will be aware of offending your parents.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
When you fear God, then you'll be aware of offending your parents.
That's right.
People don't acknowledge that.
No, they don't. Israelites don't.
People don't care about that. You know what they care about? I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman.
That's right.
You're married.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is 21 years old. And I'm talking to her, and she start laughing with a smirk. I say, hey, stop laughing. I'm serious. And she's laughing. I didn't say nothing else after that. I give her one smack. Wow.
Yeah.
She, oh, man. I'm like, I told you to stop laughing.
Mm.
Stop laughing.
That's right.
Mm.
She kept walking with me, and she kept quiet. I was like, good. All right, good. She didn't keep her attitude. Good. You don't do things to offend your parents.
That's right.
Mm.
And I was raised one way.
That's right.
One way.
I am 47 years old, and I am a child to my mother.
That's right.
Still,
You hear
I'm
that?
never a grown-up
Never.
when I'm dealing with my parents.
You hear that?
Right now, if I say something wrong, my mother can tell me, shut up.
That's right.
And I'm going to shut my mouth.
That's right. Say it again.
If I do something and I offend my mother could pick a book up and But
You hear
I'm
that?
not going to argue back and forth with my mother. Why you hit me? You and fighting. You crazy?
It's death you want to die.
You crazy?
Will you stay away?
Are you crazy? And this is the
come around.
this is the inhabitants of the world today.
That's right.
The children today don't move like this no more.
They want the parents
Okay.
to leave them.
Let me read something for you.
Roll on, Johnny.
Huh? Let me read something for you. I'm gonna stop here for a minute. He said, "Hear me, your father,
That's right.
O children,
Mm.
and do thereafter that ye may be safe." He said, "This is where you're gonna find safety at."
That's right.
Because if you move any other way, you're not gonna be safe.
That's right.
Okay? He said, "For the Lord had given the father honor over the children."
Mm.
Huh? And had confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
Right.
So when you confirm the authority over the sons or over the daughters, over the children,
Right.
the child only make their own choices when they become grown. Till then, they're under my roof.
That's right.
You even see it on the TV. Say, "Listen, son," and the child is big. "Well, listen, son, if you want to do this and this and this, and come in here all after hours, then you gotta pack your stuff and leave.
That's right.
But as long as you're here, son,
You go by the
curfew
rules.
is 10.
You
You
go by the
gotta
rules.
abide by the rules.
Whatever rules they got, you gotta abide by it.
This is the rules here of the house.
That's right.
You don't want to abide by the rules, son, daughter, then there goes the delet, means the door.
That's right.
Then you can set up your own rules in your crib.
That's right.
He said, "Whoso honoreth his father, make it an atonement for sins."
You hear that?
When you honor your father, it makes atonement for sins.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to make an atonement for sins if you don't regard the laws of God.
That's right.
That's right.
It goes hand in hand.
That's right.
There you go.
You can't go outside, steal, and then honor your father and think God is going to relinquish the stealing.
No.
No,
That's not how it goes.
that's not how it goes.
Don't say that.
That has an effect, and it only helps when you honor the laws and the commandments of God first.
That's
Don't
right.
violate the laws.
That's right.
That's when it puts into effect. I can't commit adultery and honor my father and think God is gonna
Yeah, think you got it good. No,
I'm gonna get off with that.
no.
I can't rob and then honor my father and think God is gonna relinquish that.
Don't-
No,
That means you can do anything.
no. That means I could live a wretched life and honor my father and I'm good.
That's right.
No, that's not what that means.
They got it twisted with the Racobites.
That's not what that means. That's not what that means, man. He said, "Whoso honor it." So let's go back to Deuteronomy 6. I just wanted to show you and give a point that the parents have authority over the child.
That's right.
You're never a grown up when you're dealing with your mother and your father.
Even if
That's
you're on
right.
your own.
Hear it.
That's right. Even if you're on your own, I'm on my own.
You got your own house.
But at any given time, my mother could call me. "Yo, I need you, blah, blah, blah. I gotta come."
That's right.
That's right.
Yesterday, I was in the house chilling. I didn't feel like going nowhere. Shala, I need you to go to the store and get 2 glasses of water and 2 milk. You think I felt like driving? No. And I didn't feel like going to Nick. No. But guess what? Immediately, those emotions got wiped out. Boom.
That's right.
Hey, I'm going.
Gotta go there.
You want me to go to the store now? I said,
That's
"What
right.
you want me to get?" Boom.
Right.
Oh, 2 orders? Well, I don't feel like driving. I said,
Yeah.
I'm going to carry these things here from here to there and I'll bring it here. Don't worry, I got you.
You hear that? You sound sleep. You hear that?
Choked up this week.
Verse 2, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son.
Let's go back.
To the top,
No,
verse 2. I'm at verse 2.
just read it over.
That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command thee.
That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God. To what?
To keep all his statutes
To keep all his statutes.
and his commandments which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life,
That's right.
and that thy days may be prolonged.
That thy days may be prolonged. That's how you prolong your days.
Uh-oh.
By honoring your father, by honoring God.
That's right.
There are ways to prolong your life on earth. But when we do things contrary to what God said, we shorten our lives.
All right.
We increase our stress. We increase our tribulations.
Right.
Everything increases and nothing will get better because you got to better yourself with God first.
That's right.
Nothing in life is going to get better
That's right.
because you have to consider God first.
Not your job, clown.
Nothing else get considered first. God
Facts.
put first.
Facts.
And not your Isha.
Let's read it.
Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it,
Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it.
that he may be
Because if you to hear and to do goes hand in hand.
Uh-huh.
If you hearing with the mindset to fulfill,
Right.
to accomplish, to fulfill these laws. Let's read it.
that it may be well with thee,
That it may be well with thee.
and that ye may increase mightily, as
And
the
ye
Lord,
may increase mightily.
as the Lord God of thy fathers had promised thee,
Let's read.
in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. It's only one God.
That's right.
It's only one God, one standard of living, one way that God prescribed for man to live. That's it. And the way that God prescribed for man to live, we read it here in the Old Testament. Okay? There is no other God.
That's right.
There's nothing to compare to him, to consult with him.
Without beginning, we are.
Without beginning and without end. Without beginning and without end. So a God has no beginning. There's no beginning to a God.
That's right.
There's no end to a God.
That's right.
He is the eternal one. That's why he's called I am that I am. I shared, and here I shared.
He is long.
Here I shared, and
All right.
here. Said who is, and who was, and who will be in glory. Why it says I am that I am. Because at any given time, God was able to come down. His glory was able to come down and cover the whole entrance of the tabernacle. And then another time, God took Moses and put him in the cleft of the rock, removed his hand, and he showed him his back parts.
That's right.
Then another time, the Most High told the high priest, he said, before you come into the Holy of Holies, he said, make a smoke.
That's right.
He said, because you may come in here and see me sitting on that mercy right there. I'm telling you, right? With two cherubims on each side, prostrating towards the mercy seat.
Right.
That's the God we serve. And any God, the Most High said, he said, the heavens is my throne.
That's right.
He said, the earth is my footstool. He said, the clouds is the dust off my feet.
You want to mess with
Man,
it?
you want to mess with this God, man? There's no deity that speak like that.
No.
There's no idol that speaks like that. Only a God speaks like that, and that's the God of Israel.
That's right.
That's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the eternal one.
Baruch Shemo.
That's it.
Baruch Shemo.
There's only one God in it. This is why I'm listen. When you do this, there's no way you can front, but you won't be able to front for long. You won't be able to front for long.
You can't front for long.
You can't front for long.
Root you out.
It's going to root you out.
Yeah.
It's going to pull you out, and it's going to discover the secrets that you have within
Yeah.
yourself. Of what? Of how you really is. See, that's what God tries. God tries the heart and the reins of man. God goes inside of a person.
That's right.
See, now God got to try the heart and the reins of women now. You know why I said God got to try the woman also? You know why? Because at first, in the beginning, things has changed.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things has changed from in the Bible to now.
Right.
And the women are not living according to the standards that God set, which is follow your husband.
That's right.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Whatever the woman does, the husband allowed it.
That's right.
And this is why God never mentioned a woman. He charged the men.
You hear that?
He charged the men. But now, today, God tries the woman today, too.
That's right.
Because they on their own now. And they are surpassed. And they have become elevated in society and above men.
That's right.
And they are putting their foot down in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And setting the rules.
Oh, yeah. You hear that? No, you know it's all way out.
Let's read. Let's read.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart. What is love? Love, people get this thing here about love. Love is shown.
That's right. Love is action.
Love is actions.
That's right.
Love is shown. Love is actions. Love is not spoken.
That's right. That's the
You
big
can't
one.
speak love into existence.
No.
My actions prove that I love you.
That's right.
The things that I did for you prove that I love you.
That's right.
Why I say that? Because we was commanded to love God.
Uh-huh.
And the only way to show your love for God is to fulfill his laws, commandments, and statutes. Now, what is love? Love is affection based on what? Admiration, benevolence, and common interest. Okay, what is admiration? Admiration is feelings of delighted or astonished approbation. What is approbation? Approbation is an act of approving formally. So that's one example to show that a person loves God, or he loves his woman, or she loves her husband, or loves her man, or they love their children. They start to show it in their speech. Man, I love my woman, man. Man, she's good to me, man. She do this for me. I love her, man. Man, I love my man. My man, she go to work. He take care of all the bills. He take care of me. He said, You start voicing it formally. I love God, man, because he delivered me from this, this, and this. And he did this and this and this. And I prayed to him for a person that I loved, and he delivered him. So we owe God then.
That's right.
Yeah, we owe God. Huh? Payback. Payback. We owe God. And if you're thinking about everything that a person that said that they loved you and what they did for you, then you owe that person too. You owe that person. Right? Admiration. The next one is benevolence. Benevolence is tendency or inclination, disposition to do good. Disposition or inclined to do good, which means what? You got good in you. And the only one can see the good in you is God. No one else can look inside of you and say, well, you got good in you.
Right.
No one else can look at you and say, inside of you and say, you got evil in you.
Right.
You can only tell if a person is good or evil according to what they do in life, according to their actions.
Right.
And then you got to base it upon what God said is good. Base it upon what God said is evil.
That's right.
Because if God didn't say it's good, then it ain't good.
That's right.
If God didn't say it's evil, then it ain't evil.
That's right.
We got to stop this. We got to stop this. But the reason why people won't change is because they don't believe God.
That's right.
They don't believe this.
Non-believer.
They don't believe this book. They believe what's in front of their face here and now.
Right.
For a moment. And then that dwindles away.
Right.
Then that dissipates and vanishes.
Yeah, just to get you out there. That's right.
The last one is common interest. Huh? You know what common interest is? Common interest means what interests you interests me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What interests you interests me. What you like, I like. Huh? What you desire, I desire. Which means my interest got to be the same interest as God's interest. That's it. That's it. And that's how you can say if you love God or not, based on those definitions. Let's read it.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God
Thou
with
shalt
all
love
thine
the
heart.
Lord thy God with all what?
With all thine
With
heart.
all your heart.
And with all thy soul.
With all thy soul.
And with all thy might.
Nobody gets that. I said nobody gets that. He said love God with all your heart, soul, and might. That's 100% total commitment to God. That's the only one I'm 100% and totally committed to is God. All the rest of the commitment is committed to a certain extent.
That's right.
A certain extent. Because at any given time, Joey will run off on his wife and leave his wife, abandon his wife for 6 months, a year later, a year and a half, and then come back like he's supposed to still have a wife. Is that nuts? That's nuts. How you abandon your woman for such a long period of time and then come back and want to claim? You out your mind. You out of your mind. Samson left for a while. It didn't say how long, but he left. And when he came back, his father is at the tent. He said, yo, man, I'm going to go back to mom. He said, what's wrong with you, man? He said, man, you've been gone for a long time. He said, man, I done gave her to somebody else. I done gave her away. Samson got tight. Picked up at the time he picked up the jawbone of an ass and started slaying and killing up Philistines. That was his purpose. His purpose was to be against, to be adverse against the Philistines. That was his purpose. That's what God put him in for, a deliverer. Let's read.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. Your heart is your mind. And in order for the laws of God to be in your mind, you must read. Right. God's law is not going to get embedded in your mind if I'm not constantly doing something that's godly. As far as reading and reading and reading, because you realize why God told the king to read? Why did God tell the king to read? He said that you might learn to fear me. And reading has an effect on your spirit. What you watch have an effect on your spirit. Your conversation and things that you voice out of your mouth has an effect on your spirit, whether it's good or evil. Whether it's good or evil. That's why God said what? Read that over again.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart.
Shall be in thy heart. Read.
Thou shalt teach them diligently
teach
unto thy
them
children.
Diligently unto thy children. You see what God said to teach your children? You see what God said to teach the children? Now the word for teach is shinantam. Right? Shinantam means to sharpen. Shinantam also means to teach diligently. That's right. This is something that is constantly repeated over and over and over. So it comes a time when you got to sit Joey down. Explain to Joey. Listen, Joey. Let's read this. You got to sit down and speak to him in ABC format. Let's read here, Joey. Do you know when the first day of the week is, Joey? Yeah, I know. Sunday. Can you tell me when is the seventh day of the week, Joey? Monday, Tuesday. He ain't gonna know offhand. His name is Joey. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When's Saturday, Joey? Seventh day. God said we got to read that in Exodus 20. God said we got to observe the Sabbath day on the seventh day, which is today. So when the Sabbath comes, we can't watch TV. We can't be playing games. We can't be doing nothing in this house that's not directed towards God. Training comes from number one, the parents.
That's right.
The parents train the children. That's what God said.
That's right.
The training comes from the parents.
That's right.
Which means you train the child the way you want the child to be raised and grow up.
That's right.
So now when the child becomes a grown man or a grown woman, hoping that he chose what you taught him. Hoping, because it ain't guaranteed that the child stick to your teachings or what you showed them. Now the child had their own choice. But when they 4 years old, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 16, 17, they don't got no choice.
That's right.
They don't have no choice,
That's
man.
right.
You know why the child don't have no choice? Because you're living in my house.
That's right.
You living under the mother's roof or the
right.
father's roof.
That's right.
So you got to follow the rules and the regulations of what the parents have set.
That's right. It's not giving them
That's
kids
it.
choices, man.
That's
Right.
right.
That's it.
American.
They only
American.
have their own
That's
choice when they get
They
older.
respect the kids.
Okay? I got brothers and sisters that don't live in this way of life,
Right.
but they was taught this from young.
That's right.
And when they got older, they decided that they don't want to live this. Bon voyage, no problem. Shalom.
Go on, go.
You still my brother.
That's right.
You still my sister. But
keep that
you
distance.
chose the type of life that you want to live. God deals with choices, man. Do we know that God deals with choices?
Out of here, man.
Guess who else had choices? Even Adam and Eve had a choice.
That's right.
I say even Adam and Eve had a choice.
That's right.
God gave them a command, and he stepped back. He stepped back. But in the beginning, when God created the heaven and earth, you know what was in his mind? Israel.
That's right.
Israel was in his mind.
That man was the person talking.
Israel was in mind. Now,
Right.
not all black people is Israel.
Oh no.
Maybe good.
Not because you're black means you're Israel, because the 7 Hamitic nations was black.
That's right.
The first world was black. Everybody was black.
It only means
Hey,
Before the
hey. A lot of people ain't gonna like it, but even Esau was a black man.
That's right.
all it means is that you are Negro.
Esau is Shemitic.
His father.
Esau's father is Isaac.
That's right.
Esau and Jacob was brothers. Esau don't mean white. It don't mean white. Esau, Edom, Admoni. It means red. When you look up the definition and you do your you're studying reddish brownish complexion. You see a black man, but he was red hair.
Yeah.
Red hair,
Yeah.
reddish complexion.
Yeah. That's how.
That's how he looked.
Like that brother
And he had, and guess what?
Israel.
He had, his mother had to take, remember now, goat's hair.
He's very hairy man.
Goat's hair
Extremely shaggy hair.
is shaggy and rough, woolly.
Mm-hmm. He was a hairy man.
Yeah,
He was hairy like an animal.
let's read.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house.
Talk of them when you sit in your house,
When thou walkest by the way.
when you walk by the way,
When thou liest down.
when thou lies
And
down,
when thou risest up.
when thou rises up. Huh? Those things have an effect on your spirit. Talk about it when you sit in the house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. And I don't have no time for nothing else. You know why? Because when we're doing this, is you have very little space for violation. You have very little amount of space for error. because I'm constantly reminding myself of the laws and the commandments of God. Let's read.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand.
And they shall be as frontlets between thine
And
eyes.
they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. So what's supposed to be on your hand is what? These words.
That's right.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Huh? And you put that on your hand, you bind it on your hand, you put it in frontlets between their eyes. Between your eyes. So that what?
And thou shalt write them upon the posts
Write
of thy
them
house.
upon the doorposts of your house.
And on thy gates.
And on your gates. The only thing that has gates is a city. That's the only thing that had gates. Tamshi.
And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not.
To give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not. You are God has moved you into a land and everything is planted.
Ready-made.
The house is already built. You know what that is? To move into an apartment and everything is furnished beautifully. I ain't got to spend no money. I ain't got to put no work in. I ain't got to sweat. I ain't got to do nothing. Just moving and enjoy life. That's the position that God put the nation of Israel in. If we honored and fulfilled these laws. If we kept these commandments. Remember, the only reason why we're not in our land is because God kicked us out.
That's right.
God kicked us out because we disregarded God.
That's right.
God kicked us out because we forgot God. And we started worshiping idols and deities. And religion started with us.
That's right.
Religion is an Anglo-Saxon word, meaning regulato, means to hold you back from the truth. This is not a religion. I don't speak religion. This is not a religion.
That's right. Yeah.
This is not a religion. You know what's a religion? Christianity.
That's right.
You know what's a religion?
Islam.
Islam.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh? You know what's a religion? The Yorubas.
Yeah.
You know what else is a religion? Buddhists.
Yeah.
Huh? You know what else is a religion? Masonics.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't read about none of that stuff in here.
That's right.
Eastern stars. Do we? Listen. Renegade Jews conjured up this thing called Christianity. And Christianity started from way back in history. Way back in time, from the times of Nimrod.
Roots of paganism.
Roots of paganism. When Nimrod cohabitated with who?
Mother.
With his mother.
Yeah.
And she had a godchild called Tammuz, Tammuz, which is symbolic JC. But you know what? They said she was immaculately conceived through the rays of the sun. Because remember, Nimrod resurrected into the sun. She got immaculately conceived through the rays of the sun, which was Nimrod. And she got impregnated.
Sun worship.
And every nation have a story.
That's right. Sun worship.
Egypt,
Yeah.
Canaanite, they all have a 3-in-1.
That's right. And 3 of 1.
Tamshi.
Like in school.
And houses full of all good things which thou
Houses
fillest
full of
not.
all good things, which thou what?
Which thou
Which
fillest
thou
not.
fillest not.
And
Tamshi.
wells dig which thou diggest
Wells
not.
dig, which thou diggest not.
Vineyards and olive trees.
Vineyards
which
and
thou
olive
plantest
trees, which
not.
thou plantest not.
When thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware, lest thou forget the Lord.
When things is going good with you, he said, beware of yourself.
That's right.
Watch
Watch
yourself.
You're the one that
Huh?
That's right.
Watch yourself. Because we tend, when things go good with us, we tend to forget God.
That's right.
yeah.
When God put us in our low estate, he wants you to consider him. That's why God bring you down. And he's not allowing things to progress. Because he wants you to consider where you belong at. Where your place belong at. And your place and where you're supposed to be is supposed to be with God. Not nobody else. With God. So he's going to keep you in that lower state. You know why God keeping you in that lower state? Sad to say. No, it ain't sad to say, but it's sad to you. But I know the ways of God. He's keeping you that way because he loves you.
Right.
Because you know you're going to go up.
God is keeping you down because he loves you. And he don't want you walking in this path that you are walking in. So he keep you down. He's not going to pick you up and make you think you did what was right. You're doing things right. I'm elevated. See, I must have did the right thing. No. Because in God's mind, I don't want to destroy this person. I want to wipe this person out. Let me keep this person down.
Right here.
Keep him right here. Hoping that this person will acknowledge his fault. Number one, with God. Acknowledge that the things that you have done was wrong according to what God said. Acknowledge that, man. And get right. And get right, man. Let's read.
Then beware, lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt
Beware, lest thou forget who?
the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
And that's what it is. This here was spoken about. Never stop speaking about it. Beware, lest thou forget the Lord which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, because that God brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. People never thought that Israel didn't think they was getting out of there. Because they believed in them Egyptian gods. They believed in everything that the Egyptians did. That's why when they left out of there, they never left their past. They always went back. They always reverted back. Now, when you come to serve God, the book says, come. He says, serve him with simplicity of what? Simplicity of heart. You know what simplicity of heart means? Do not come like you don't know nothing.
Clean
Come with a clean slate.
You get everything.
Take that chip that you have in the computer and destroy it. There's no information in the computer now. Now you can put in new information and the computer will accept the program better. That's a computer and that's facts. To put a new program, you got to delete the old one.
Everything.
To put new information, you got to delete the old information.
That's right.
So you're not going to accept this God with hang-ups of your past and comparing your past to what God says. That's not going to work. You're always going to lean and halt between two opinions. You're always going to ride the fence because you have not let go of your past.
That's right.
You hear that?
That's right. That's right.
Let's read.
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God.
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God.
And serve him, and shalt swear by his name.
Only. I don't swear on my dead mama grave. I don't swear on my dead mama papa. I don't swear on I swear on God. And they barely swore.
Only in matters of law.
Only in certain matters, but they barely swore. You know why? They didn't have to swear because they kept their word. When they said something, they followed and did what they said. And they was a truthful people. It was a truthful people, man. They was a truthful people. And we have to know what are lies. What are lies?
Even if it causes them death.
Even if you call them, that's right.
They told on this.
When God told Samuel, he said, listen, I have rejected Saul from being king. He said, I need you to get this oil, get this, and this, and go over to Jesse. I have appointed a king over there. Samuel said, if I go over there and Saul here, then I'm going to appoint a king. He said, man, he going to kill me. He said, okay, well, just tell him you're going to sacrifice. That's it. I ain't got to tell him everything else. But people say, oh, you lied because you left that out. No, God ain't say that was a lie. I'm going to Uncle Joshua's house. But I ain't say why I'm going to Uncle Joshua's house. I'm going to Uncle Joshua's house, brother. Why? Don't worry about it. I'm going to Uncle Joshua's house. But you held that out. You're a liar. No. You got to know what lies are. You gotta know what a lie is. Let's read.
Ye shall not go after other gods of the
Ye
gods.
shall not go after other gods. We gotta know what going after other gods mean so that we don't do it. There's a meaning and there's a way to go after idols and deities. Okay? Achere, meaning after, right? After means subsequent to. Subsequent to means to have the same view of, which means you look at this situation the same way a heathen look at it. And when you look at a certain situation the same way that this person look at it, then it's going to show in your actions. It's going to show in your speech. In accordance with, to be in agreement with, to resemble. To resemble means to be the same or to be like. Huh? So if I'm not like you and I ain't the same like you, then why I'm living with you?
All right. You hear that?
Why am I living with you?
We don't even have the same God.
We don't even serve the same God.
That's right.
We don't have the same ways.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah.
nothing the same. Why am I living with you? God gonna look at you like you serving other gods. God gonna look at you like you the same like them.
That's right.
Because you agree.
Yeah.
You agree with them.
That's right.
That's the only reason why you will live with a person. Yeah, you agree. Huh, that's my cousin. Listen, man, God don't care about family.
That's right.
I said, God don't care about family.
That's right.
Let me show you. Genesis 12.
Told Abraham.
When God told Abraham,
That's right.
he said, get
Raise
out
up.
of your country. The word for country is mumladet. It means your family,
Yeah.
your relatives, your kinsmen. Direct family. God told Abraham to get up out of there.
Get away from me.
That's right.
Remove yourself.
Far right on stand.
That's right.
Because you can't serve me being around them.
All right. You
You
hear
can't
that?
serve me being around them. They don't want to serve God.
That's
And
right.
God saw good in you to show himself to you. But he ain't seen the good in you and them.
That's right.
In your family.
Mhm.
We're cousins. We're aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. We're hell, mothers and fathers. But they don't have the same heart like you. God said that. God saw that in the and he could see that in individuals today. That's why he makes a separation and decide. And he's choosy. God is choosy
That's right.
with who he shows himself to.
That's right.
God is choosy with who he shows himself to. You ever think what a coincidence and why did God match you with her?
Yeah.
Why God put her in your life?
Yeah.
Why God put you in his life? Why God added and put you and brought you here? Like I said last week, the door's open.
That's right.
We afraid. We just afraid to walk through it.
That's it.
We afraid to continue and keep advancing.
Mhm.
You advance, make 2 steps, and you stop.
Yeah.
Now you got to consider yourself. What in the world is causing the stoppage?
That song. Jingle.
What's causing me to stop? What's holding me back from going forward?
You hear the song?
And then we don't look at it. We don't look at it in that perspective. We look at it and we blame everything else
Yes, sir.
except for the root and really come to mind and say, well, listen, man. Listen, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's read it.
You shall not go
Now,
after.
hold up. To resemble means to be like or similar, right? Like means what? To be suitable or agreeable to. To feel attraction towards or pleasure in. And whatever attracts you, that's your interest. That's what you're interested in.
That's right.
Whatever attracts you, that's your pleasures
That's right.
or liking for something. Okay? Let's read.
You shall not go after other gods or the gods of the people which are round about
Which
you.
are round about you.
For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you. Lest the anger of the
For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you. Yeah, God is jealous. You know why God is jealous? And you know why? How we made God jealous? Because God demands from those who he loved and redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
Who did God love? Who was God's first love? Israel.
Israel, yeah.
He said he said Israel is the apple of my eye. You know what the apple of my eye is? You're going to protect that eye. He said Israel. He said God demands from those who he loved and redeemed utter and absolute loyalty.
Absolutely.
Absolute loyalty. I redeemed you out of Egypt. I did all this for you. The only thing I want from you is loyalty. How do you show your loyalty for God? Fulfill the commandments of God. Acknowledge God and fulfill these laws. Right? Absolute loyalty and stern actions against them if you betray him. Stern actions. Now, that's what happens. This is the description of God's jealousy. This is the description when God gets jealous. We can't continue to walk away from God, because once you walk away, you're not going to be able to walk back.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Tell him.
It comes a certain time in life where the doors of acceptance is open.
Yeah.
Only for a certain time,
Yeah.
but not for long. Because God ain't walk away from you. You walked away from God.
You walked out.
So the door is open. But there comes a certain time when the doors are shut. Bam. He's going to leave you out there. He leave you out there. Let's read.
For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you,
Uh-huh.
lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth.
Let's read.
You shall not tempt the Lord your God as ye tempted him in Massah. You shall
Yes, we tempted God. We tempted God so many times in the wilderness. We tempted God at Massah, Kibroth Hattava, Meribah, the waters of strife. All we had to do was put our trust in God. And how? And again, we provoked him with our mouth. The things that we said out of our mouth, we made God angry. We provoked him, and we led God to jealousy. We provoked him with our mouth, and God got angry and started destroying us. Thousands and thousands of Israelites died in the wilderness, all because of their mouth. Because they refused to put their trust in God. They're thirsty. They turn on Moses and tell Moses that they brought them out in the wilderness to kill him, the family, the cattle with thirst, when they were supposed to put their trust in God. No, I'm not agreeing with, oh, they don't know Moses. Those are hang-ups. They saw the glory of God, man. They saw what God did in Egypt. They saw that. Okay? Then after they seen that, they was brought to the mountain.
Oh, man.
They were brought to a mountain. And the presence of God incinerated the whole mountain range. The presence of God had that mountain skipping. The mountain range was on fire. Later on, scientists discovered that sulfur, large amount of sulfur, was all over the mountain range. He said it seems like it's been burnt for a very long time. It's proof. But God shows us all these proofs with scientists, and he allowed all these things to come up to strengthen your belief. But people still don't believe. People still has the strength and the will to turn away from God. Jamming yourself, man.
Yeah.
Let's read.
You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well
with thee. And thou
with
shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of God. Not thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of Georgetta, or thou can do what is right and good in the sight of Carl Anthony. You do what's right in your own eyes and what you think is right?
Yeah.
No. Because what you think is right, it don't have to be right.
It ain't. It's war.
What you say is right is evil, it don't gotta be evil. And it ain't evil.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta realize that and embed that in our mind, that whatever God said is right, that's what counts.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever God said is evil, that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
That's what it is, man. Nothing else counts after that. Let's read.
That it may be well with thee.
Uh-oh. You hear that? That it may be well with thee. Do that which is lawful and right in the eyes of God so that things can go good with you.
That's right.
Things is not going to go good with you because you're not doing that which is lawful and right according to what God says. According to what God says. That's why things is not going good with you. And God cares about you, so he keep you in that lower state so you can consider your ways.
That's right.
So you can consider your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Time sheet.
That it may be well with thee,
Uh-huh.
that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord has spoken.
What verse you at?
Verse 20.
Let's read.
And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the
When your
statutes?
son asks you, he said, what mean what?
The
The
testimonies
testimonies
and the statutes
and the statutes
and the judgments.
and the judgment. The children are going to come ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Why are we doing this? What's the reason with this?
Mm-hmm.
Why I can't do that over there? Sit the child down and explain to him why. But in order for a person to do that with their child, they got to have a certain level of belief in God.
That's right.
Yeah. You got to have a certain level of belief in God to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't explain the laws and the commandments to their children because what? They don't believe that this exists.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they're maybe doing something wrong somewhere down the line. And they judge God's law according to people's actions. You notice that? People judge God's law according to how you is.
Uh-huh.
I can't judge what God said according to how you is. How you is, that's how you is.
That's right.
Whether you're evil or good, God ain't got nothing to do with that. The only thing that stands is God. That's it. Pure, upright, clean, just. That's it. Now the people that follow it don't have to be pure, right, and clean and just. That's them. God said to choose this. God gave you a choice, whether you want to choose this or not. Let's read.
Then thou shalt say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes.
The Lord showed what? Signs and wonders. Read.
And great and sore upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the good land which he sware unto our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God.
Fear the Lord our God.
For our good always.
Only for your own good.
That he might preserve us alive, as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness, and we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. Deuteronomy 7. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites. These 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
We just getting out of Egypt. We wasn't even established yet as a nation. We wasn't even established yet as a nation. So when we left out of Egypt, there was already 7 Hamitic nations that was already established in war. Canaanite nations, 7 nations that was greater, mightier, they was better than us. They would have wiped us out if God was not on our side. And those was also black nations. So that's the reason why I said not all black people are Hebrews or Israel. Okay? Hittites, Hittite, descendants of Ham, right? The second son of Canaan, once inhabitants of Central Anatolia, modern Turkey. Modern Turkey.
Hittites.
Later, North Lebanon. You hear that? All over. Girgashites, dwelling on the clay soil. Descendants of Canaan living east of the Sea of Galilee when the Israelites entered the Promised Land. Amorites, Osea, meaning East Canaan, and beyond the Jordan, dispossessed by the Israelites, incursion from Egypt. Incursion is an invasion or an attack.
That's right.
Hivites, Hittite, the 6th generation of Canaan, the son of Ham, living in northern Canaan near Mount Hermon at the time of the conquest. Jebusites, descendants of Jabal, descendants of the 3rd son of Canaan, who lived in or around the site of Jabul's early name for Jerusalem. 7 nations. Go ahead, read.
When the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them. A covenant is what? Agreement. An agreement to be in accordance or agreeance in opinion, feelings, and being compatible. Being compatible. Which means what? The same. The same. So we have to be in agreement in our opinions and feelings and some type of compatibility for this to work. If God, that we needed that to work, to have some type of connection with God. Because if we don't have that, then it's going to be some type of friction between you and God. Let's go read.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. We was commanded not to marry these people. Why? Now, marriages, hikaten, means what? To be related through marriage. To be related through marriage. Right? God didn't want us to be related, no type of connection with these people. Because they didn't serve God. They had ways that God despised. They had ways that God hated. So he commanded us not to marry your sons with these foreign nations. Not to marry your daughters to their sons. Because they're going to turn your heart of your sons away from following me. Just like today. And that's what the woman does. The woman will turn you away from serving God. The woman will have you doing things that is against God.
You hear that?
And you have to be on point with yourself.
That's right.
You got to be on point with yourself. Number one. On point with yourself. Say, oh, I can't do this.
That's right.
By me doing this, I'm gonna offend my God.
That's right.
By me doing this, God is gonna get angry at me.
That's right.
So
I
can't do that there, man. That's against the law.
Man up, Johnny. Man up.
That's right.
That's against the laws. Now, Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam. Eliam was a Hebrew man, right? Now, God allowed certain ranks certain people from certain nations to come in. Why? Strangers, yes. Why? Because these was men that had the determination to serve God. So God made exceptions for them because they had the heart to serve God. So God accepted Uriah the Hittite.
Right.
And because God accepted Uriah the Hittite, Eliam, who was Bathsheba's father, was able to give Uriah his daughter. Let's read. Look at Moses, another example.
Yeah.
Ruth, the Moabitess.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
So that they may turn your who?
Thy son from following me.
Following me. To turn.
Hear that?
To turn means to depart.
That's right.
To depart means to deviate from an accepted standard. What is the accepted standard? The accepted standards is the laws, the commandments, and the statutes that we read in that book.
That's right.
The ways of God that we read in that book, those are the only accepted standards that God will accept. When we begin to conjure up our own standards and start living our lives according to how you want to live your life,
The standards of
and not according to how God wants you to live, that's not good.
That's what they're doing.
That's not good, man. That's not good.
That's what's going
Right?
on.
To turn means to change a change in direction in life. You know what that is? That's the path you take. You done left off from a path that God has set up, and you done came up, you done took a different path. You took another scenic route. You took another route, another path that is not of God. That's not godly. That's not right. All right? Go ahead. What was that? He said, they will turn away thy sons from following me. There go that word again. The word for following me is the word for acher. Or achare. It means to have the same views of, to be in accordance with, to resemble, to be like, to be similar, right? Attraction. Whatever attracts you, that's what you find more interest in.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever attracts you, that's what you find more interest in. Pleasure or liking for someone or something. Let's read.
That's right.
But they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars.
What verse you at?
Verse 5.
He said, but thus shall you deal with them. You shall what?
Destroy their altars.
Destroy their altars. You know how many people got altars
In their house.
set up in their house?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know
yeah.
what makes it an altar? What you have on it.
Right.
What you have on it and what you have decorated on that, on whatever you have it on.
Candles.
Because people got candles.
Roses.
Then they may have a picture or an image of a deceased with candles,
Roses.
food, water,
Cross.
incense burning, crosses sitting there. I don't want that table. This is why you don't buy secondhand furniture.
That's right.
Because you don't know what the secondhand furniture was used for.
That's right.
We're buying these furnitures from heathens.
That's right.
And the heathen don't acknowledge God. So we
Right.
can't buy secondhand furniture because we don't know what this person used that furniture for.
That's right.
It's a dedicated thing.
That's right.
Which should not be in your house because
That's
it's a dedicated thing to serve idols. It was dedicated to another God.
Yeah.
Let's read.
And break down their images.
Break down their images. The word for images is matzeba. Matzeba is a what? A statue. A statue. We should not have statues in our houses. Tombstones. This is why when I buried my father, I made sure I didn't put no tombstone. We made sure we didn't put no tombstone.
That's right.
It's just a marking there.
That's right.
You don't have to put a stone there.
That's right.
God is against that.
That's right.
In loving memory of
Yeah. You hear that?
1800 to 2005. Now here goes the obituary, which is what? The monument, which is a monument is a written legal document. So you go to the funeral and they hand you paper. Here you go.
Yeah.
When you look at the paper, from sunrise to sunset, monkey, alligator. He was a beautiful man, according to what you say.
Yeah, good man.
He left back.
He was a good man, according to what you say.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And then here comes the long-lived monkey.
Do the same thing.
But God didn't say he was a good man.
Oh, man.
God didn't say he was righteous.
All that is worship of the day.
And you know he wasn't a good man. You know why? Because you didn't serve God.
Yeah.
Because you didn't serve God. That's what makes you good. Serve God and you'll be good in the eyes of God.
That's right.
But if you don't serve God, then you ain't good.
Yeah, you ain't good.
You're evil.
That's right.
Let's read it. So, yes,
Images.
Matzeba is a monument, which is a written legal document, a statue, a tombstone. We ain't do none of that. Our funeral, look, we didn't even have a funeral. The bury our pops was cheap.
Just buried him.
We just put the man in the
There wasn't
box.
circles. There
We
wasn't
did it
circles.
like our forefathers did it.
That's
We
right.
didn't have a repast.
That's right.
No circles.
I know big expensive box and everything
That's
like
right.
that.
When Sarah died, Abraham didn't have a repast.
That's right. That's right.
When Abraham died, Isaac didn't have a repast.
Yeah, really didn't come from Syria.
When Isaac died, Jacob and Esau didn't have a repast.
Yeah. Talk about it. Talk.
We don't have repasts. After the person died, we going to Chief Hoogle house with food and drinks
So good. Worship of the day.
to celebrate the life of Hoogle,
Ancient Egyptian custom.
ancient Egyptian custom. Come on, man. Celebrate what life? Where in the book says they celebrated the life of Moses?
No. So they walked with him 30 days and that was it.
Where, man? And this is our problem. Our problem is that we so bent to following after the ways and the customs of heathens that we can't serve we can't serve God. Because we bent on serving, we bent on following after the ways and the customs of the people that we live amongst. But you never read about it. You never read about it in the book.
Never read about long lived, man.
The only person that's long lived is God.
That's right, monkey. God. That's right, monkey. Get mad at that.
God. The only one that is long lived is God.
Yeah. Hear that. Hear it.
So
Their images
break
and
down
cut,
their images,
and cut down their groves.
cut down their groves. You know what a grove is? A grove is an Asherah. Asherah is the same person as Ishtar.
Same one.
Ishtar is the same person as Easter.
That's right.
Isis.
All that's the same.
All these people that I'm named is the same. They have the same link. Also,
Today, I mean,
married. Today they never married, right? But same person. Okay? And the grove is in commemoration to the stripping pole.
that's it. That's where strip pole comes from.
That's where the strip. That's the origin of the stripping pole. The origin. It was made out of wood,
Right.
long piece of wood, and they used to engrave their idols within the wood. And the stripping pole wasn't no skinny pole. It was a big, thick branch to where big enough to where you can hide it and hide things inside it. You know what I'm saying? But all these things here, our forefathers did. Go ahead, read.
Burn their graven images with fire.
Burn their graven images with fire. The word for graven images is fesel. Fesel. It means idols. An idol is a false god. The definition of idol is the likeness of something. Likeness of something. A form or appearance visible without substance. Without substance means what? Without life.
No life.
It's no life. Tamshi.
But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, break down their images, cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. But thou art an holy people unto the Lord.
Go back.
That was 5.
Okay, go ahead.
That's 6.
Verse 6. Tamshi.
But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
But thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. Let me tell you what's the problem with that. The problem with that is that God is telling you you holy. But you not telling yourself that I'm holy. You telling this guy here, man, you're a prince. You're a king. But he don't look at himself as a prince or a king. You tell this woman you're a princess, you're a queen. But she don't look at herself as a princess or a queen because all these titles brings about a certain type of behavior.
That's right.
That's right.
You're gonna behave in a certain way that is that a prince or a queen or a king or a queen is supposed to behave. If you look at yourself that way, you will not allow your emotions to get startled.
That's right. Say that again, man.
You will not allow your emotions to get startled, which is going to bring about bad behavior.
Your emotions get tickled.
Tamshi.
Tickle your emotions.
But thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
A special people. That's what God said. He said, man, we special, man. He said we special, but again, we didn't look at ourselves as special. God looked at us as special. And because God looked at us as special, he gave us holy laws. Holy laws to set us apart, to differentiate between us and the people that we live amongst. Tamshi.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now, holy. The word for holy is kadosh, means to be set apart for God. Now, when you're set apart for God, you will become different from other people. You have a different mindset, different thoughts, different actions. Everything about you will be different. Okay? Characterized by perfection and transcendence. Set apart, meaning to hold different opinions, thoughts, and thinking patterns. Now, when you're separate, it means to go in a different direction, to make a distinction between. You know what a distinction is?
That's right.
To make a difference.
That's right.
To make a separation, to make a
That's right.
difference.
That's
And if I'm making a difference between me and you, there ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm going to be walking with you.
That's
All
right.
right. All right.
If I don't agree with you,
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
much less listen. That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
I got to make a distinction.
That's right.
When you're following God, we got to begin to make a distinction between you and them.
That's right.
That's only if you're 100% following God.
Ah.
You have to make a distinction between you and them.
That's
Again,
right.
I don't care about family.
That's
Do you hear that?
God is number one in your
That's
life.
right. All the
Supposed to
time.
be number one in your life.
Every day.
Right.
Make a distinction between you and them.
That's right.
Tom, see? Now, hold up. Perfection, right, is free from fault, error, right? a degree of accuracy or excellency that cannot be bettered. What is accurate or accuracy? You on point. You accurate. You on point with it. You're not violating. You on point with the laws and the commandments you ain't missing. He accurate. Man, we start at 10:30. Man, the brother here at 10 o'clock. He accurate.
That's right.
With serving God. Be accurate when you're serving God, man. Be accurate when you serve God. And when you're accurate with serving God, you don't go and come.
That's right.
See me today, next week you don't see me. See me 2 days, next 2 weeks you don't see me. You're not accurate with God. Tom Shee.
The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people. For ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he will keep the other.
Because the Lord loved you. You know why God loved us so much like that? You know why God loved us so much like that? Because he loved Abraham.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of that one man.
Brown.
Right.
God was able to come to that man and show himself to him, and he didn't question nothing.
That's why.
He didn't ask why.
That's right.
He just did. God commanded him, told him what to do, instructed him, and he just did it.
That's right.
Without asking why.
Blind
allegiance. You know, that's how we're calling today. We got too many questions.
You ask why because you don't want to do it.
We ask questions that there's no answers to.
That's right.
And then we allow this question that don't have an answer to startle your mind.
Yeah.
No, why are you so startled about this? God didn't explain it. Leave it alone. Just do it.
That's right.
I said, just do it.
Just do it, monkey.
That's it.
Yeah.
Stop asking questions and why and why and why and why. Sometimes it's not to ask no questions.
That's right. Do.
Just do it.
My father said, "Mine not the question."
Because you know why? You know why I said just do it? Number one, you already accomplished the hurdle. Your belief in God. And because you believe that God is God, you minimize your questions. But the people that don't believe in God has so much question. See, notice, man. A person that believes God ain't gonna question much.
That's right.
Ain't gonna have too much to ask.
That's right.
Things that don't have an answer to it, you're just gonna do it.
That's right.
But then you have other people that don't believe God, that don't have the belief in God, so they question a lot of things. Question. Going to other things looking for answers. And then when you go into these things looking for answers, it detours you.
They don't question the preacher.
Detours.
Exactly. Nobody questions the preacher.
Let's read.
But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen.
You know how long God made that oath to our forefathers? You know how long God kept God? Look, let's read.
Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth
He's
covenant.
God, the faithful God, who keep his covenant. The word faithful, Aman, Aleph Mem Nun, it means faithful. Steadfast in affection. That's a part of faithfulness.
No, it's not.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's not.
Faithful means steadfast in your affection. There's nothing that you can do to me that can cause me to lose affection for you.
Uh-oh.
That's faithfulness.
Uh-oh.
Huh? That's faithfulness.
That's faithfulness.
There's nothing that you can do to me that will cause me to lose affection for you.
Oh, that's faith.
You want to argue with Merriam-Webster, then you go ahead. I don't know nobody to mess with that lady. She came up with a dictionary. Steadfast in affection, or allegiance. You know, it's your allegiance, man. Allegiance to God. My allegiance to my parents. That shows that you have faithfulness. That's what drew God to Abraham, because before Abraham knew God, he knew his parents, and he was faithful to his parents. And God knew and seen it, that this guy could be faithful to me. You can't be faithful if you're not faithful to your parents. You can't be faithful to God.
Say it one more time.
Right.
If you're not faithful to what's before your face, you can't be faithful to God.
It's whopping to you.
All right.
All
You hear
right.
that? Stop lying. You hear that?
Your allegiance. Parents, children to parents.
That's right, man.
Huh?
That's right.
Wife to husbands.
That's right, man.
That's
Right.
right.
Husbands to wives. My wife to husbands, and my allegiance is to God.
That's right.
My allegiance is to God. Okay? Another thing, conscientious. Conscience. To serve God, you got to have a conscience.
That's right.
If you don't have a conscience, then you're not going to make amends of what you did that was wrong, according to what God said. All right? Let's read. We get into that in the next chapter.
Which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him.
Which keep it covenant and mercy. God said he will keep his covenant, he'll keep his agreement, and he'll keep his mercy only with those that love him.
That's right.
So we got to show our love for God by fulfilling his laws, commandments, and statutes. Let's read.
And keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
Uh-huh.
And repay them that hate him to their face,
Uh-huh.
to destroy them.
Uh-huh.
He will not be, verse 10.
Go ahead.
He will not be slack to him that hated him. He will repay him to his face.
You see what God said? He said, I'm not going to hold back. When you violate these laws, commandments, and statutes, he's going to repay you to your face. He's going to come to you and he's going to punish you. Things is going to happen in your life. Things is not going to go right in your life because you're not moving right with God. You want things to flourish and go right with you and get this. And I want this, and I want this to go right, and I want this. But what about pleasing God?
That's your part. That's your part. Pleasing.
What about doing the things that is lawful and right by God?
Yeah.
Because nothing is going to go right with you until you start that.
Oh, that part.
Do that part first.
That part.
I said, do that part first. Let's read.
Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that the Lord God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers.
If you keep my judgments, keep my commandments, he said, then and only then God will keep his covenant and his mercy which he swore to your fathers. He said, I swore this to your father. I didn't swear it with you. I didn't make this covenant with you. I made this covenant with your fathers. And because of how good and how righteous your fathers is, the covenant lives through you. You see righteousness? Mm-hmm. Me and you got an agreement. The agreement stands in your seed. The agreement stands in his seed. The agreement never dies. That agreement don't die. It never dies. That's righteousness. Those are the ways of God. You learn the ways of God by reading the book. Let's go. Let's read.
And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land.
He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and what?
And the fruit of thy land.
And the fruit of thy land. The fruit of your womb is what? Your kids. Your babies. Our fruit of our womb is not blessed today. It's not. At any given time, you will have a child, and then the doctor look at the child, diagnose the child with Down syndrome. Child slow. Next thing, you have a child. The child ain't diagnosed with Down syndrome, but he's born with kinks.
You're the kings.
You know what a kink is? Kinks. I was born that way. Yeah. They don't have to be molested or touched or none of that. Yeah, they're born that way now. Man is born being affectionate and liking other men. And woman is being born liking and turning towards woman. But God only made two genders.
That's right. Yeah.
I said God created two genders, male and female. That's it. God ain't made no 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what I teach my children. There's only two genders, male and female. That's it. That's what God said. Let's read.
Thy corn and thy wine
Uh-huh.
and thine oil, the increase of thy kind, the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt be blessed above all people.
Thou shalt be blessed above all people, but we ain't blessed today above all people. That was from then. If we had hearkened to God when we went into the land and we followed after God, yes, we would have been blessed above all. Not today. Not today. God done kicked us out of Jerusalem, kicked us out the land, and put us in slavery. Kicked us out of the land. We migrated into Africa. After Africa, Africa got invaded. We got taken out of Africa, a whole mix. Taken out of Africa, put on stinking slave ships and brought to the Americas.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Had different ports, drops, 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 drop, drop, drop. The last drop was here. But notice one thing. God only did that because of our disobedience to his laws.
That's right.
No, I don't hate the white man for that. God made the white man do that to us.
That's right.
Because of our disobedience to his laws.
That's right.
That's why that happened. Let's read.
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle.
Male or female barren among you, all among your cattle. Read.
And the Lord will take away from all sickness,
Uh-huh.
and will not put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee.
Uh-huh.
Thine eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, but that will be a snare unto thee.
So neither shall thou serve their gods, because that's going to be a snare. That's going to be a trap.
That's right.
You're going to trap yourself, man.
Where you in?
You're going to trap by you detouring and departing away from God. You are the trap is starting.
That's right.
The trap is being set up. You ain't going to see it. But the trap is being set up for the future later on if you don't turn back to God. Go ahead.
If thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them?
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember that what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt,
Uh-huh.
the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid.
You see that? You see what God says?
You see what I did there?
You see what I did to these people, man? The great temptation which you saw with your own eyes. So because of what you saw out of your own eyes, you didn't have no reason to doubt. You ain't got no reason to be doubting
No.
if God gonna deliver you or this or no reason to doubt.
That's right.
Tom, see?
Moreover, the Lord thy God will send a hornet among them until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them. For the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. 25.
Okay, go ahead.
The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire.
The graven images of their gods shall you what?
Burn with fire.
Go ahead, read.
Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them,
Okay.
nor take it unto thee,
Okay.
lest thou be snared therein.
Okay.
For
Now,
it is
right? Okay. Now, it said the graven images, right? Say shall burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is upon them. This is why we don't buy jewelry out the pawn shops. Because we go and buy chains, but the chains was used to hold up a cross.
Okay.
The chain was used to hold up the head of JC, which means that chain was a dedicated thing. So now to step it up, we gotta be to step it up. I don't know where you got that chain from. I don't know where you bought that chain from. You could have bought that chain from a person that used that chain to hold up an abominable thing, and you go and bring that chain in my house, which is abominable. So now I don't allow people or strangers in my house with jewelry.
That's correct.
Because I don't know what that chain was used for.
That's right.
It's an abominable thing. It's abominable just like that cross. Tom C.
The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them,
Uh-huh.
nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein. For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God.
That's right.
Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like
Lest
it.
thou be a cursed thing like it.
That's
the
right.
word, a dedicated thing. A dedicated thing, a cursed thing. Uh-huh.
But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing.
Okay. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalm 17. Psalm 17. You got it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, read. Psalms chapter 17.
Hear the right, O Lord, attend unto my cry. Give
All
ear.
right. Because okay, it say hear the right, right? Shim'ah El Shaddai Zedek. The word for right is Zedek, right? Zedek, which means God don't hear everybody. Uh-oh. Listen to that. Not because you bend your knee and pray to God, God hears you. Uh-oh. We got to realize that. Because our ways are not acceptable before God.
That's right.
Okay? Now, two people could be praying for the same thing. Right? But the person that's praying for what you're praying for is moving right with God. And he only answered that prayer because of the person that's moving right with God.
That's right.
Know why? Cain and Abel.
That's right.
Pure, clean example. They both were setting up offerings. The structure and the setup of the offering wasn't set yet. So Cain brought up fruits. Abel brought up the flock of the sheep. But the only reason why God accepted Abel's offering was because Abel was accepted.
That's right.
So in order for your prayers to be accepted, you have to be accepted by God.
That's right.
And how do they know when their offerings got accepted? What took place when God accepts your offering?
Fire come and lift
Fire
up.
comes down from heaven and suck up the offering.
That's right.
Why I know that? Because that's what
Right.
took place when Solomon finished his prayer.
That's right.
When King Solomon finished his prayer, fire from heaven came down and sucked up. Don't too loud. Fire from heaven came down and sucked up the offering. Right? So now what is just? Zedek means right or just. So we're going to get into these meanings. All right? We need to start looking up words and make sure that the words and the meanings that we look up, if it don't coincide with it, get rid of it.
That's right.
To be just means what? To conform, to agree to a standard that is morally right by God, which means a just man agrees with God.
That's right.
But the just man that agrees with God, you look at the just man that agrees with God and say that the man is evil or wrong. But I agree with God. And if you agree with God, then your actions and the things that you do will be will coincide with the actions, will go together with God's actions. It'll be compatible. It'll be the same. All right? Upright is just. To be upright means what? Conscientious and scrupulous. Having regard for what is right by God. Considering the things that is right by God. What is conscientious? Conscientious